microphones. Oh my gosh, look at the people. I knew a lady who used to say, the people you see when you don't have a gun. What she meant was she was excited to see you. And you know who I'm talking to you, Irene. No. Thank you for making the way out here. You know, when I was a kid, my parents would talk about how far away DuPont Center was. On the southwest corner of DuPont Center is a wood frame building that apparently was the dance hall that people would go to because nobody in town would know what they were up to because it was so far out here. Now you know how easy it is to get out here, and the next time you see something cool happening here, I won't be surprised to see you. This is awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that you've come to see and hear Emmett and have him share his story. I've had the pleasure of knowing him through Pachakacha, which is great. We all know and love Wendy Tanner, and we're glad she's the one that's bringing us refreshments tonight for afterwards. I don't know that you'll be surprised that this is a hard-hitting story, and so that there's no surprise you're going to have some strong language and very strong depictions of things happening that you might not necessarily come across any other time in your life. So be prepared, but it's the real thing. And so please, let's welcome Emmett Tatter.
So I began this book about, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago. And then I had an amazing team, my mom and Kevin, they really helped me edit. We've been editing for years. And it seems like it never stops. Revisions and so, but this is a chapter from my story, from my life. It's only a small segment, and I invite you on this little journey with me. I'm going to begin with a chapter called Bluebird. Oh, I'm sorry. I went to prison for 10 years. And this is the memoir from that story. And let's get to it. I hope you're ready. All right, this is a chapter from Bluebird. It's called Bluebird, Chapter 1, November 15th, 2,836 days until my release, minus the 10 months that I spent in the county. The police have come to awaken me. It's 3:30 in the morning, and of course I didn't sleep. How on earth could I? Adrenaline has been racing through my body for hours now. I've been ready for this moment, and now that it's here, I think, damn it, it's time. With no choice, I cuffing up. I turn around in my cell, putting my hands together behind my back, sticking my hands up to the hole in the cell, which allows the officers access to safely put handcuffs on my wrists. With the touch of the cold steel on my skin, I'm immediately zapped awake as if by an electric charge. This is fucking real. This is happening, and it's happening right now. I'm going to prison. Fuck it, let's ride. This fuck it attitude is what's gotten me into this mess, but it's something I still hold on to as a tool to help me accept what I don't want to accept. After months of waiting in different county jails, different cells, transfers, and confinements, the moment has come, and yes, like all those other times, here I'm mouthing, fuck it, to myself. So fuck it. The cell opens and I'm taken to the front of the jail to await the loading van that'll shuttle me to the prison. I'm going to Orlando, Florida's reception center. It's a giant facility used to house transferred inmates throughout the state, to process new inmates, and to house permanent inmates that help the facility operate, the lifeblood, the slaves. When the van's doors open, my feet and wrists have been shackled in the front with a chain that drops down to my feet that meets ankle shackles. It's very difficult to take a large step forward or to step up. The officer helps load me into the back of the van with 3 other inmates. I notice that the hard faces have that inner lining of nervousness, or what I see as fear. They don't scare me, but not knowing what's going to happen does. When the doors close and I'm seated facing another shackled man, I sit there, blank face. The drive will take a couple of hours, and I'm too busy mentally preparing myself for what lies ahead to give a damn about anything else. There it is again, that damn fear. I can't shake it for the life of me. Why the hell is my leg bouncing? I remember a girlfriend who would always stop my shaking leg during a movie with her hand or a stare. You're doing it again. I allow a small smile and that river of fear stops for just a moment. That river is replaced by another though, a familiar pressure telling me I might need to use the restroom soon. Yeah, that river. That's the one I'm feeling as we pull up to this huge facility that I'm totally not prepared to see. The one with these ominous orange lights that cast an eerie Halloween feel to everything. Those huge fences with razor wire that let you know you're fucked. Nobody's getting out of here. Anyone who tells you that they aren't scared when they first come to prison is lying. As the van pulls up, I'm nervous and thinking entirely too much, with a million questions flashing through my mind. What's this going to be like? Is somebody gonna try and put down on me? Rape me? Will I survive? What all the county jail experts, my fellow inmates, failed to mention was that when you arrive at the prison, there's also vans from all over the surrounding counties waiting to drop their cargo off as well. This line of vans takes hours to drop everyone off, and my van is far down the line. Fuck. Sweat begins to form around my hairline, which should be impossible because it's fucking freezing outside and inside the sardine can. All those millions of questions are one by one being replaced with a much larger, much more immediate question: when the hell am I gonna get to use the bathroom? My bladder has filled to the point where nothing else matters. I need to use the bathroom bad. The question that keeps creeping into my mind is somebody gonna try to rape me? Is totally pushed out for when can I find a bathroom? The situation's becoming dire. With each jolt of the van moving forward, with every push of the brake pedal, it feels like some ancient torture method. My bladder's going to burst. When the van's doors open again, I'm sweating my ass off. I'm hit with a cold blast of air. The year 2010 is by far one of the coldest in recent memory. Thanks, Department of Corrections. Who needs a sweatshirt or long johns when you can experience hypothermia? I'm basically a human popsicle right now. My body is racked with the shivers, adding to the agony. Who knew it could get even worse? Now, a group of us are being directed by yells and shoves toward a fenced-in area where other shivering inmates are huddled together. As I walk into the area, each and every step's a moment I want to die. There's no way on this earth that I'm going to start my first fucking day pissing my pants. Everyone will think I'm scared, literally pissless. Fuck no, not me. I refuse to be that guy. At this moment, I set it in my mind that I would rather die right here, right now, than piss my pants. An officer with a voice as loud as a bullhorn screams, "Get naked! Everyone strip the fuck down now!" Mind you, it's freezing, and the shackles have been taken off as we're ushered into this cage one by one. This simple task that should be easy isn't. I have to piss so bad each movement sends electric shocks through my entire body. My one consolation is that when this is over, I can get inside and use the bathroom. Thank God I find myself mouthing, not caring whatsoever about the naked bodies I'm surrounded by. Does the torture stop? It does not. The correction officer yells out with a booming, "You dumb motherfuckers will not be staying here. We'll not be able to accommodate you. You are going to be put on a bus." He points to what's known in the system as a bluebird. This bus is actually painted white, so why it's called a bluebird escapes my mind completely. But I'm much too preoccupied to ponder that with the realization that I'm not going to be able to enter the prison and use their bathroom. This is the moment when I just know in my heart I'm not going... know in my heart I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm never going to make it home. I'm going to die right here, right now. I barely hear the correction officer CO yell, "Y'all are being shipped late by the reception center, so put your clothes on and hurry the fuck up." One of the permanent inmates is dropping a pair of blue trousers and a shirt at each of our feet, along with a pair of white boxers. The cold hasn't gotten any better, and neither has my dread that I'll not be using the bathroom. When the gates open, a line of officers usher the shaking, scared herd toward the buses. Once our ankles are reshackled, I barely notice my wrists are free as the invasive, screaming thought, "I need to pee now," has completely taken over. Once the first bus has been filled, I'm the first to enter the next bus in line, accompanied by the yells of the officers from the outside, welcoming me to this wonderful experience. At the front of the bus, there is a huge gridded cage of steel that prevents you from going forward to where the guards sit with their shotguns alongside the driver of the Bluebird. Walking forward, I'm cringing with every step. Each one feels more impossible than the last. I allow another inmate behind me to squeeze into the seat by the window. I want the outside. The thing is, with the cage in front of me and being in the front row, I realize this is going to suck even more, unbelievably. My legs, I've noticed, have to be scrunched up and are putting an enormous amount of pressure against my screaming bladder. I won't survive this, fuck it. I think for the 100th time, no prison meant for me. The bus fills up quickly and the door in the back shuts. I don't care about anything at this point. Not about being raped, what prison will be like, the officer's life or death. I've accepted my death. A young black kid next to me, who I should add, has been talking nonstop this entire time about how many times he's been to prison and how there isn't anything to worry about, leans over and says, "Yo, bruh, will you move over and step up? I need to use the bathroom." In shock, I stand up and he disappears past me into this mass of people resembling an angry beehive. Prison transfers in Florida aren't like what you see in the movies. They aren't quiet. There aren't only new cocks, fresh new green inmates on these buses. There's people heading to a new camp, prison facility, that have been locked up for 25 years. There's inmates being transferred from the facility's confinement cells, the box, to other facilities. There's dope being smoked, people's property adds to the clutter of the bodies, and to me, it seems the officers don't give a fuck if someone gets stabbed on the bus. That'll be taken care of later. The only priority for the officers is to get us to the next prison without killing us all in a crash, which seems unlikely because they drive dangerously fast. I watch in disbelief as the young black kid disappears into the crowd and a brief spark of hope ignites in my mind. Is it possible? Am I really not going to die right here, right now? A minute goes by. I can't stop shivering. Then through the mass, I see him. He looks like the savior so many have been trying to tell me about. He's beautiful, because I can tell by that face, he's peed. When he sits, I ask him, "Dude, where'd you piss, man?" He looks at me with amusement before outright laughing. "Oh shit," he laughs. "You was a green motherfucker." And he points to the back. "Back there when you first stepped onto the bus, to the left, you must not have noticed one of those steel sinks you use in cells. It's posted right there in the back. You didn't notice that fucked up smell either?" I stare at him in stunned silence. He chuckles again, but I've already turned and begun to maneuver my way through this pack of hyenas. Wasn't even scared. "Excuse me," I keep repeating. And then there it is. The nastiest, smelliest, most beautiful sight I've ever set eyes on. The Holy Grail, my toilet. The bus is being driven by a wannabe NASCAR racer. It's jumping up and down, making me fearful of pulling my dick out in front of everyone, causing me to pee on the men directly in front of the sink. I know the piss will splash them some. With the Clint Eastwood draw, I pull my dick out. But I'm a shy pisser. I loathe pissing in front of anyone, and I hate people behind me. Here, they're surrounding me. I must breathe in and out. It's a meditation practice before I discovered meditation. It's torture. My mind's telling me that I'm going to be stabbed on the bus for pissing on the man in front of me, while my bladder continues to plead for release. Fuck it. I inwardly scream and my piss-shy dick begins to dribble and then outright gushes an Old Faithful geyser. I'm actually pissing. Thank you, God. Yes, I'm elated, weak with joy and relief. I'm thinking this is true happiness as I push and move back toward the front of the bus, not giving a damn about my knees that are going to be scrunched against my empty bladder. The fear, the questions, the anxiety and nerves have now been replaced with a sense of calm. Here I am going to prison, and I find myself mouthing for the millionth time, who gives a fuck? And that's chapter 1. So a little backstory about the environment that I was living in. In 2023, and it was worse when I was there, in 2023, there were 356 deaths. Now, were they from homicide? Were they from suicide? Natural causes? ODs? Well, 51% of those deaths, nobody knows. Those cases are still pending. And as I develop, as you learn more through these excerpts, I always pronounce that wrong, you'll see sometimes where those deaths, how they happen. So that's the environment that I was living in for a while. So this next chapter is called You Gotta Be Kidding. It's chapter 2. I'm going to Lake Butler, Maine unit. It's master roster count. This is the most important count. So this is an excerpt from that, I'm sorry. Okay. It's master roster count. This is the most important count. All business. Everyone better be sitting up, beds made, at the foot of their bunk when the officer and the dorm sergeant entered the front of the dorm to begin the count. Sam's in the second to first bunk. When Officer Psycho gets to his bunk, I realize Sam must have done something wrong, or maybe he's just an easy target. It's as simple as that sometimes. There may be no reason for what can happen to you, simply a whim. I can't hear what's going on, but the next thing I know, Sam's standing in front of the officer who's in his face. Then Sam walks off, swaying his hips, and holding one of his hands in the air, flicking it. Poor Sam is being forced by Officer Psycho to do the fucking whoops did I do that Urkel routine around the perimeter of the whole dorm until count clears. I know I can't save Sam now. While master count continues, each inmate shows his prison ID, reading off their DC number. And Sam is still saying, whoops, did I do that? Around the whole dorm, the whole fucking dorm. My mind's so blown that when Officer Psycho gets to my bunk, I'm the only dumbass with my arm resting on the rail of the top bunk. Shit. He stops counting. He's gearing up for the blow up. Get the fuck off your bunk, Psycho yells. Shit. I hop off and turn to my right, and he's inches from my face glaring at me. He hates me, and I hate him. And then there it is. I'm going to die right here, right now. Fuck what my mom or anyone else has to say. Fuck this dude too. You can kill me before I do some family matters Urkel shit. I made my mind up on the first day. In my soul, I know I'm deadly serious. Fuck it. I say, yes, sir, and he looks at me. It feels like time has slowed down as he informs me that I'm going to walk around the dorm and quack like a duck while flapping my arms up and down. He got me all the way fucked up. Inside, I'm scared because I know that I might die from making the police running. Running, it's when you make them fight. They push the police backup button on their hip, spray you, and take you down. I'm scared to the point that I've lost all sense of time. But I'm so pissed he's trying to humiliate me. He's trying to make me a target like he did Sam. My mind whirls frenetically through all the ways this deadly chess game can play out. I focus and allow a long breath. I tell him, with all due respect, sir, I'd rather die than walk around the dorm and quack like a duck. His eyes go black, like a shark smelling blood. I just know what's about to be on. I fought an officer in the county before, but I know it's not going to be like that. These guys are going to fucking kill me. Then the strangest thing happens. His eyes clear, and he stands there, looking at me. For only a second, I think I see a smile, or is it gone before it was ever there? I'm ordered to get back on my bunk. I hop up, in my right hand, hold out my prison ID card, V19743. He moves on. That night, I'm on my side, aware of the rapist and his knife, the box springs, how easy it would be to put a knife through them. Then I think, Granny, Mom, this too shall pass. There's another story about the rapist, but you'll have to read the book. Yeah, so in the beginning of the chapter, when I said that anybody who says that they aren't scared, they're fucking lying. You're scared, you're terrified, you're in a new environment. And when I went, I was 21, maybe 22 years old. I'm around a dorm where you had to have 10 years at least to be in it. It was insane. And when you're young and you're around nothing but older men, how do you handle yourself? And I had a jit mentality. All I knew was that I had to survive and make it back home. So that's what I set out to do. Chapter 3, respect and the lack thereof. It's an excerpt from it. Excerpt. Sorry, I always mess that up. The night sky is my favorite sky. It's remarkable every single time. I feel the comfort when I look up at stars. It's a time that I slow down and appreciate each breath. The stars have a way of speaking to my soul. Every night they're saying, be careful, Emmett. Watch everyone and everything. The stars twinkle and I can tell they are trying to answer all of my questions. The night air whispers for me to remain calm, to observe, to not react unless it's absolutely necessary. Thank you, stars. From reading novels, I'm able to imagine myself almost anywhere. But at this moment, I don't see myself in the beautiful islands of Hawaii, or an island where ancestors of mine have walked, or even at the beach. The beach was my life for a time, another life. Tonight, my imagination can't help me. The dark beauty of the nights suddenly pierced my angry scream. Fuck you, motherfucker, bitch, you ain't getting my shit. A white guy walks out of the dorm, but not for a transfer. What he's doing is demanding from whoever will listen, officers, inmates, people, it doesn't matter. He wants a fade, a one-on-one fight about his stolen shoes. Dude's going hard, and he looks like someone not to fuck with. His face is tatted up, and he's one crazy-ass gangster-looking motherfucker. Even the officers stand there stunned. He walks right up to the other inmate who stole his shoes, who's being transferred like me. I guess the thief thinks he'll be an easy target and there will be no repercussions because he's transferring. He figures he'll never see the white boy again. Well, this white boy is a man in the foreign land of prison and walks barefoot on the concrete. It doesn't matter that the landmines are there in the form of officers and killers. Out he walks into the cold air, past all the officers, all the inmates, and gets in the dude's face who stole his shoes and says, "What's up?" I'm in complete shock. I've never seen anything like it. The police are gonna kill this guy. But they don't. They respect it like I do. No fear. I can tell the shoe thief doesn't expect this either. I see real fear written across his face. The next thing I know, the officer's walking over to them saying, either hand the shoes over or I'm gonna let the white boy run through your ass. Black dude reaches into the bag of property and hands the white dude his shoes. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I'm witnessing a guy standing up for himself, and I'm amazed that the police let it go down. Standing up for yourself is the way I'm gonna make it through these 10 years, I realize. There are things I'm willing to fight for. I let people know it right away. I'll fight whoever I need to fight to get calls out to my family. I decide daily what I'm willing to fight for, and I do have to do a bit of fighting, or at least showing my willingness over and over from one prison setting to the next. I cannot show fear. I cannot show weakness, especially as a white man in here, in the minority, and not willing to be gang affiliated. Some people think they must get into a gang right away for their own protection. I knew from the get-go that I wanted to do it alone on the strength of my own ability to get along with all the races, to fight when I need to, and to gain respect with the force of my strength and my personality. It helps to know how to use your intuition, to read people, and to know how to talk to them, to show respect and get respect in return. I promised my mom I wouldn't be affiliated with any gang. and I want to do it on my own way, on my own terms. So, yeah, that was a big moment for me in there, because when you are white, unfortunately, you are the minority when you're white, and most people, right when you get there, they're trying to get you into a gang. Somebody's trying to hustle something and play up under you. And that comes with a heavy price. And I knew right away I didn't want to do that. And I knew right away that I want to go home. But also that I didn't need anybody. This next chapter is called Real Life, chapter 27. July 24th, 2012, 1,854 days remain. The plan is to survive, but little do I know what's in store for half the passengers on this transfer bus. My plans, a Hail Mary at best. As we're pulling up alongside Swanee CI's barbed wire fence, the orange security lights make it seem like a Tim Burton movie. I can picture Jack Skellington creeping around the entire compound with his skeletal eyes peeking from behind one of the giant dorms. The light makes everything seem creepier. That's when I hear Buddy D say he went to Swanee before on his last bid, and this is the worst place he's ever been. This is his third prison sentence. Like a huddle before a football play, we jam close together listening to Coach D. He warns us not to look the officers in the eyes when we get off the bus, saying, "Late Butler's fucked, but this place is truly hell. And Late Butler's exactly how I envision hell." The scene of entering the front gate with what seemed to be 100 officers waiting is terrifying, pure and simple. Some officers wear electric shock shields and batons. Others are unarmed but wear leather gloves, appearing more menacing. These gloved officers evoke memories of Sergeant M slapping inmates with such force that once they're carried out, they were never seen again. The mix of armed and unarmed officers creates an intimidating atmosphere. Their electric shock shields and batons represent a blatant show of force, while the leather-gloved officers suggest a more manipulative danger, hinting at a potential off-the-books violence. Their projected authority and control are absolute, effectively instilling with all our hearts dread. As the bus comes to a stop, I slap and grab Squire's hand and give him a brotherly hug. He tells me to stay cool. "You'll be fine, Tatter. If anyone can make it in here, it'll be you. I can tell you know how to handle yourself. Don't worry, bro." I appreciate his encouraging words and try not to worry, but I honestly think the officers intend to kill one of us. What's most frightening is I was singled out by the monster. The uncertainty of what could happen is terrifying. Steeling myself, I try hard to focus on Granny's words. "This too shall pass." I might be injured, who knows how badly, or even killed, but come what may, it is what it is. You could hear a pin drop, and then from outside, "Emmett Tatter," in a redneck drawl. Remembering the monster's laugh, as I walk alone toward the back of the door where officers are waiting, they have been told we rioted at Lake Butler, and who knows how the monster has set me up. "Back out backwards, Emmett Tatter. Move slowly. We'll shoot you if you want to make any sudden movements." I hate all of them. Approaching the back of the bus, I turn around awkwardly because of my ankle shackles. I only hope they don't think my awkward movements are aggressive. They all look like they're dying to shoot someone. It would probably be a good way for some rookie officer to make sergeant or lieutenant. I definitely don't want to improve his salary, so with each step, I move very carefully. Backing down the steps of the bus, an officer grabs my right arm firmly, and I'm turned, and then held tightly by two bulky behemoths and marched past what seemed to be 100 more, their heads covered by huge black safety helmets. Heavily armed giants engulfed me, and I'm wearing only my thin cotton prison blues. Obviously, I pose little threat to anyone bearing shock shields, clubs, and guns. This is all posturing. This is a game of chess. This is what checkmate looks like. I'm directed toward a temporary bay of concrete holding cells and placed inside one. While the rest of the bus is unloaded, I turn around. The small window in the steel door is covered, blocking my view except for a tiny gap. I don't know how long I'll be here. All this terrifying buildup, and I'm suddenly left alone in this tiny holding cell. My heart's beating way too fast, and I wonder what's happening to my friends. I know I need to calm down. I try to slow my breathing. As I relax, an image of a rose coming through the concrete appears before me. It's one of my symbols of hope and strength. I told the judge at my sentencing I would become the rose that makes it through the concrete, changing my life. And suddenly, a flood of fragmented memories followed. My family, my childhood, our banned battery acid, mom and dad, my arrest, all the mug shots, crying faces, pain and violence. I'm lying on the floor in shackles when the door opens. "Get your ass the fuck up, dummy," the officer barks. I push my body up from the floor and shuffle out the door, only to see one of my fellow transfers being beaten. They claim he was resisting. This is a common tactic in the DOC, enabling officers to beat inmates with impunity. "He's resisting." You hear that false charge yelled out too often in prison. Then you'll witness legalized brutality, which can be more violent than on the street. Here there are no consequences for officers' actions. None. An inmate has no recourse. After being directed outside the holding cells, we're looking at the huge annex compound. The first thing I see is a gigantic gun tower looming over the center, surveilling 4 quads. With all the officers around, there isn't any talking. We're led down a long walkway between towering razor wire fencing. I feel inconsequential shuffling along, trying to catch a glimpse of the stars overhead. With each step, I'm reminded of John Coffey from the movie The Green Mile, being directed to the electric chair, totally innocent. I feel like yelling out. There must be someone who cares. We stood up to people who are killing others for no reason. But my heart tells me I just have to accept that I'm fucked. All the guys in this line are. It is what it is. It is what it is. Fuck yelling out now. As the breeze touches my face, it hits me I haven't walked outside at night for a year, at least a year. At Lake Butler, my classification as a morning shift worker meant I never went to work until after sunrise. There wasn't any reason for me to ever be outside after dark. This moment has brought unexpected opportunity. Leaning my head back, I search the night sky for the stars I long to see. That would make me feel really good. If I could see these fucking stars tonight, who gives a shit about what happens next? I want everyone here to forgive me, because sometimes when I'm reading these pages, I honestly get a little PTSD from it. And that was one of the challenges while writing this book. You can ask my team over here that helped me edit it, and we got into some knockdown dragouts sometimes. And sometimes I used to really be a lot worse, but with PTSD, but we're overcoming those limitations, so let's move on. This next chapter is from chapter 42. It's an excerpt. Mind your P's and Q's. Reading has always been something I do to calm down, to discover some semblance of peace. It's my time to enter different worlds. It's my time to enter different worlds, turning every page. Around this time, my mom sends me some Arturo Perez Reverte books. It's a series about Captain El Triste and his young protege, Ñengo. These books become my world. I love historical fiction. The series is about 17th century Spain and a young boy named Ñengo, who is mentored by a battle-hardened soldier mercenary named Captain El Triste. He promised his friend during one of the many Spanish conflicts in the 1600s, when his son comes of age, El Triste would take the boy under his wing if his father is to ever fall in battle. His father's killed, and Inigo becomes Captain El Triste's charge. It's a great, powerful story, and throughout the books, you watch this young man grow and become an amazing individual. Captain El Triste teaches him life lessons and how to think for himself, providing him with the much-needed help and advice. He becomes a constant, strong figure in the boy's life. When I read these books, I'm inspired. Daily, I find myself facing situations reminding me of the book. It's crazy how much I relate to Ñengo. I begin reading Captain El Triste's words like he's mentoring me, as if he's speaking directly to me. I start to write down quotes and wise words he tells Ñengo. My pages look like street gang literature. They become the rules I live by. Codes about honor, sacrifice, and looking after yourself. I fall in love with the stories and find myself right there beside Captain El Triste and Ñengo, going through all the hardships they face, fighting alongside them as they battle cutthroats, the French, the Moors, and forces of the Inquisition throughout the beautiful yet corrupt time in which Spain, a superpower of the world, found itself. Those books helped me turn into a real man inside of the hell in which I find myself living. The books bring me strength to face obstacles and to help me to be smarter than all opponents. Not just to stand up for myself and fight any battle I face, but to outsmart my problems I face daily. I learn to use my head in an earth you don't always have to fight to get your point across. I learn a lot about my true colors. They aren't gang colors, but are values I find within myself that I love and want to hold on to at any cost. You don't always have to learn the hard way, I discovered. Sometimes you won't survive the hard way. Sometimes there's another way. But you have to pay close attention to your heart and know your worth. Know thyself. Thank you, Captain El Triste, Ñengo, and especially you, Arturo Perez Reverte. So when I was growing up in prison, these books transported me to different places and really were the things that I relied on. I had no influences that I could look up to and be like, I want to be like that guy right there. No, I turned to books, and those books helped me believe in myself, to stand on my own principles, my values and morals. And, sometimes I did fail. Sometimes I didn't have it all figured out. But I'll tell you what, books can change your life. And we're speaking in a library right now. I know all of you know about that. So, moving on, next chapter excerpt is Giants, chapter 52. Lane comes to the camp after me. I first see him out on the rec yard when I'm just starting my yoga training. He's practicing and meditating all alone in the middle of the field. I approach him and ask, "Hey, I don't mean to interrupt or be disrespectful, but is that yoga you're doing?" The sun's shining in his eyes as he tilts his head and looks up at me from his lotus position. "Yes, it is," he replies calmly. Check this out. I'm just now learning about yoga and had people send me some books, but I'm having trouble with flexibility. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I want to improve my style of straddle split. You know how I go about that? I ask. He stretches forward and smacks the grass in front of him. Take a seat and take off your shoes. I sit down on the grass and he opens his legs wide and tells me to take the same position facing him. Okay, he starts. I'm going to push my heels against your ankles and reach forward and grab your wrists at the same time as I'm pushing your legs apart. I'll pull you toward me by your wrists. I need you to breathe out as I pull you forward and then relax because we're going to hold that position. Keep breathing long, slow, measured breaths. Fuck. I scan the rec yard, see how many people are around to see me and this dude doing whatever it is we're about to do. This dude has got to be kidding. Fuck it. I really want to learn this shit. I'm doing it. As we begin, I'm aware that my head's being directed towards his crotch and inwardly grimace. The thing is, I'm stretching further than ever before and all my worries and insecurities vanish. I'm exhilarated, almost giddy. When he eases me back up by lessening his pull, I ask him to do it again. And that's when I learn another valuable lesson. Don't rush shit. As he pulls, my eyes shut tight from the effort, but with teeth clenched. I want to get closer to the ground. I start to jerk my body forward to stretch as low as possible. It hurts, but I want it bad. That's when I feel it. It tears the muscles in the small of my back. The pain's like someone stabbing me. From that day on, Lang's my best friend, and we hit yoga up on the rec yard whenever we get the chance. I met Asa in H-Dorm when I first got there. Tall but stocky, bald by choice with red facial hair. I don't immediately take to him. What I do like from the beginning is he reads a lot of books. We trade books, so I have no problem with him. He studies all the time, and I have no idea he's the inmate facilitator for the meditation class in other classes. Because of that, people don't really trust him. Inmate facilitators work around and with a lot of officers. They have to get approval for any classes and materials they want to teach. For that reason, most people look at them as possible snitches when things heat up around the compound. Later, after I move to the dog dorm, I approach him about the yoga class and tell him how badly I want to be a part of it. He fast tracks me in right away. Sometimes it takes forever to get into the class. Some people want an easy scan to the meditation class. Some people want an easy scan so the meditation class becomes a spot where some dudes sleep. In time, it's Lang, Asa, and me out on the rec yard doing sun salutations together. In time, okay. Friends of mine pass by and yell at me to take my own head out of my ass while we are doing standing forward folded asana pose. No one can believe that Tatter is out there doing sun salutation, raising his outstretched arms to the sky. Even I sometimes think it's insane, but there I am every day. In time, we decide to create a real yoga class. I refuse to ever be an inmate facilitator because there's too much police interaction. And I still despise officers with a passion. I can't ever forget that little baby-faced asshole blowing his whistle and spraying me with mace, putting me on property strip at Swanee while my ass froze in the cold concrete cell. I remember officers I've seen beat inmates. I remember the inmates who supposedly hung themselves. I remember wrapping them up and pushing their bodies into the morgue refrigerator. I can't explain what that truly felt like. Some officers were okay, but those who slapped inmates or set them up by putting cell phones or knives on them had built a wall inside me that seemed impenetrable. Fuck them and fuck being a facilitator. I'll be damned if I'm going to pretend to smile for these officers who hate me as much as I hate them. Never. I don't know if it's Brutus, my dog, Mom, or yoga that eventually tears that perception the fuck apart, but it happens. I don't become a facilitator per se, but begin teaching yoga. I go to the class as a regular inmate, but eventually begin teaching the class under the radar. Meditating and holding asana positions is changing me more than just my body strength. I started practicing yoga to get stronger, to be a better fighter, and to protect myself on the pound, and yoga is increasing my strength. Twisting my body into different positions, holding and extending my reach and my muscles to the max, yoga grips something subterranean in me. I feel things shifting, changing the way I perceive the world. This yoga thing is opening my heart up to all the pain and hurt I've come to accept as part of my normal life. The morgue, the hangings, the beatings and blood. How did I just walk away from all that without feeling it? Yoga is reaching inside, ripping my heart open. I teach yoga, and yoga teaches me. I don't know where I'm heading, but each day that passes, I feel something inside of me change. Each passing night, I remember all the death and razor cuts, still or swinging bodies of suicides hanging from a bathroom pipe or a confinement cell light. I don't know if I ever grieve for those corpses and stabbed bodies. In this dark world I live, there's only room for survival, no time for grief. My only thought is that dead body will never be me. I become angry. I'm sure I'll never let myself become a victim either. I resign myself to doing whatever was necessary to get through my days. Prison dehumanizes you if you want to survive. I've been playing myself the whole time. Confused by my feelings, I hid them within a part of me where there was no access key. I feel like my soul's talking to me now as all these terrifying unlocked drawers are being flung wide open. The contents hit me like fists, crushing my bones, splintering my ribs. I've been around killers for years and did my own dirt, and yes, I feel scared at times, but I've never, ever been horrified. Now I'm horrified by the blossoming feelings rising to the surface of my core. What the fuck is going on? Is this yoga? Okay, I put the pages in my other hand, apparently. So, as I went on this journey of becoming a man in prison, yoga did change my life. But there were also other people, my mom, my dad, my family. I always had to think outside of the box that I was encased in. And yoga, reading, my family, that was the way. I knew I didn't want to stay in prison. It sucked. And I knew there was a better way to live. And that's the way that I wanted to live inside. It's the way that I wanted to live. I want to live now. And I just want to thank you all for coming out here. And we're about to do some question and answers if anyone has anything they want to talk about, because we wrapped up the reading. And thank you all. I really appreciate you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay.
Okay, where and how can I buy your book? Where can
Excuse
I buy
me?
your book?
Is there, where's that microphone? I'm
Here, I'll
gonna...
just yell, where can I buy your book?
Ooh, well, there's a tough answer and even more, a tougher answer to that one. No, right now, it's with a New York editor and we worked on it for years, and now it's up there getting developed, and I've been revising, and now it's completed. Let me tell you, the book is finished. But my aim is to become a recognized author. I want it just as bad as Arturo Perez Reverte probably wanted it. And I'm gonna get it. And when I was in prison, I didn't back down from the fight. And that's what I want to do. I really, really want that. And right now, I kind of got it in. There's some agents looking at it, and things are coming together. But if by any chance that doesn't ever become a reality, I will self-publish it, and you'll be able to get it in a couple weeks.
How long have you been out of prison now?
Whew. I got out in August 2018. So it's been some years, but let me tell you a little bit about that. Up until probably the end of 2021, I was a wreck. Okay. I almost didn't survive. And that's what the next book's gonna be about. But I almost didn't survive. The beginning, the first year was great. I was teaching yoga, everything was going according to plan. I'm doing this, I'm living my dream, this is what I've always dreamt of. But I didn't understand that I had PTSD. I didn't want to accept that. I thought only soldiers or combat veterans had it. And my mentality was always, you can get over everything, accept the pain, hold it in, make it make you better. And I learned how difficult life is out here, guys. Now I know why parents said cherish being young. So, yeah, but now things are shaping up, looking better. We're finishing the book, and that's why we had horrible fights sometimes editing this book. So, next question, I'm sorry.
You started to write the book when?
I began the book in 2019, and it was actually a way for me to identify what the hell was going on in my life. Because in prison, I respected the person I was in prison. I looked up to that person, and I had a shitload of people that were looking up to me too. But when I came home after that first year, and then COVID hit, and money just, I didn't know how to handle it, and I began the book trying to find a way to get back in touch with that person. But when I began that book, I realized about not even halfway through, I can't write this shit. I don't even know who the fuck I'm writing about anymore. I don't know who that person that I loved, that I like respected and cherished, that's not me anymore. So I had to work through some things, and then in 2021, I started the end of the book and finished it in a couple months, and then the editing process and the revision and then moving. So,
What were the things though that actually helped you turn that corner though?
first, believing in myself. I knew that I could do it. I knew 100% that Emmett Tatter can do this. I just didn't know how. So, first thing, I went to Epic Counseling, and I had Kristen Ramsey was my counselor, and I went every week for almost 2 years, getting it together. I signed power of attorney over to my parents, and I did a lot of shit. I sold my car, I got rid of my bike, because I realized I can't even trust myself on my bicycle. I moved back in with them. And fortunately, I have great parents, and there's a lot of people out there that do not have that. But the main thing that I always had to hold on to was the belief in myself and that I can overcome this. I know it's difficult. It was more difficult than prison sometimes. But I never gave up.
Was it the unstructure that actually kind of threw you off? I mean, because you went through this whole thing, came out very strong apparently, and then all of a sudden you kind of fell off the thing. So I'm kind of curious, was the fact that you didn't have a structure anymore, that you kind of had to find your own way again in society?
Yeah, there's part truth to that, because you do become institutionalized. You look forward to your schedule. And even when the police are trying to kill you and all that other stuff, like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna work out today, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna learn Spanish, but when you come home, you're left with the feeling, what if I can't do that? And that's the first time I started ever questioning myself. So then that one question led to more questions of me doubting myself. And that doubt is what rips your soul apart. So I always suggest remain firm. You can do this. You have to own it, own your mistakes, and keep putting one foot in front of the other. And utilize the tools around you, epic, counseling, whatever the fuck it is, make it happen.
So your purpose was to survive. That was really clear to you from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Purpose, your mission. Now, what's your purpose?
My purpose is to become a rising book author, get a movie deal, but never know how life's gonna go. But that is my purpose right now. But ultimately, life moves, life shifts, and you have to shift with it, and you can't get caught in the cracks. So I choose to never get caught in these cracks, and if I do, I'm climbing the hell out.
As a 21-year-old child,
That was a trauma.
you go into this hellhole. How on earth did you have the fortitude to not go into a gang? How did you, because you're on survival mode.
Yeah, you know, it's not everyone can do this, but I accepted that I could die. I accepted that, you know, as much as I wanted to come home.
But kind of wouldn't the gang be saving you?
They can protect you, but then what if you don't do what they want?
Right?
Next thing you know, they're cutting your gang tattoos off or running into the dorm, holding you down and shredding your face apart with razors. You know, so and then they aren't really, a lot of times there are brothers that love each other and everything. The second you don't handle business, that's it.
Were you raised to be streetwise?
I wish, I wish that I would have listened to all the good advice. Myself, when I was 13, I was supposed to stop smoking weed. I got caught smoking weed. And when I was 13, they made me get a job. The first job, I met this girl. She told me, Xanax is just like weed. I had a rock band. I used to be the lead vocal guy out on stages, singing songs with tons of people. Next thing you know, that Xanax and everything changed everything about who I was. And when I was saying, like, don't get caught in the cracks, don't doubt yourself, the crack that I fell into was anger. Why are they're against me? They want to send me they want me to be part of the Peace Corps. Like, they're willing to invest in me to be better. I don't want your help. I live on my own. Fuck this. Like, and sad true, and I have to own that. And that's the first thing, like, that I needed to do was own every aspect of my behaviors and center them to do something different. So,
You're amazing.
yeah, well, thanks.
A big part of yoga is a spirituality. So when you joined with these two other fellows and you were like committing to do yoga, was there any spiritual aspect coming into it? Or was that totally set aside?
In the beginning, no, there was absolutely no spiritual aspect. It was,
Exercise?
like I said, I wanted to be a better fighter. I wanted, if someone gets me in a chokehold from behind, I wanted to still be able to breathe. But then, like I said in that giant story, it started doing something to me. And I wouldn't say it was spiritual, but actually it kind of was something spiritual, you know what I mean?
A different level.
Yeah, it was. And the biggest thing that yoga did for me was it allowed me to, it provided answers. Because when you aren't constantly just worried about who's gonna try running up on you or do whatever, yoga gave me that opportunity to think. It gave me the opportunity to, let's just face it, when you're in prison, who's very proud of themselves? You know, who's proud of yourself? You're in fucking prison, bro. So when I couldn't touch my toes, and then I learned to put my hands on the ground, it was an achievement.
Yeah.
And each little achievement I got through yoga translated into my own being. And I thought I was getting stronger, like physically, but I got stronger spiritually, mentally, every other Lee you can think of. So it really helped me.
Did you read much as a kid, or where did the reading come in terms of how important it was to you?
I read a little bit, but no, I was doing Xanax and smoking weed, and skipping school and getting suspended and expelled and sent to programs and all types of stuff. So let's just say I want to say to everybody, my mom and my dad, mom and dad, are incredible individuals, and they put up with a lot.
So they picked those books, they knew the books.
No, what the true inspiration was my mother. She probably saw a direction I was heading in prison, maybe. So early in the beginning, she started sending me books right away. And these were all great book club books. And they opened my eyes to new things. And then slowly but surely, I just fell in love.
Well, she had the intuition, because otherwise she could have sent you comic books. No, I'm serious, I mean,
Yeah.
she obviously had a sense of like what you needed for nourishment to turn your life around.
She sent me a book called The Power of One that I really, really liked, about a South African kid. I didn't like the ending though, but
What actually put you in?
sorry, Power of One.
What actually put you in prison?
Armed home invasion robbery. Yep.
Library?
Possession of a firearm during the course of a felony with the mask while committing the felony. And honestly, the mask was a mask that I bought in Jacksonville at the flea market. I wasn't utilizing it as a mask. I was just wearing it like a beanie. But when the cops pulled us over, they saw it as a mask and was hit with that charge. But really, I was actually defending someone that got robbed, and this old woman, she got robbed for, she was selling drugs, and I was all into that whole world.
How long have you been out of prison now?
Oh, I've been out since August 2018.
Are you going back in and bringing?
Back to prison, no.
Serving the
Huh.
community, you know, aside from this and the Facebook stuff,
Um,
or do you give back to the community of people that are in the same place and giving hope?
Emmett, would
In
you
the
repeat
beginning-
the questions, because we can't hear.
She said, am I going now back into the community and helping others and doing... So the first thing I want to say is when I first got out, I was doing talks about prison reform, and I was going out trying to help everybody. But it tripped me up in the beginning because I realized that I wasn't strong enough yet to handle that responsibility, because that is a responsibility. And if you aren't ready for a responsibility to take that on when you can barely manage your own life, then you're just spinning a dream for yourself. Now, after the experiences that I've had, I've realized more about mental health awareness. So definitely, I do talks on mental health awareness. I'd love to go out and share stories and help the youth. That is one of my main missions. But with the charges I have, it makes it really difficult for me to get into, like, I was invited to go to the, the level facilities for like juveniles, and they wouldn't let me in. So, but if there's some young kid out there that needs somebody to, and can tell them something, they might be able to listen to me on some issues. But yes, I do talk still. And
Emmett, you mentioned that you saw a lot of like suicides and overdoses, and they were all kind of like just people turned their eye to it. The authorities, they turned their heads.
yeah, and
So how do you do you have any feelings towards something to do with that because you actually witnessed it yourself?
you know,
It's kind of bothering that that all that goes on and the public don't even know that's going on.
well,
Only, immediate family must know if they lose their child, or that, maybe you can elaborate and explain that to me.
no, I understand. That's a loaded gun type of trying to fix the prison system. Because first off, there are awesome, amazing officers out there. There are great people out there that were looking over us. I had one officer, she became sort of my mentor while I was working in the hospital wrapping bodies. So there are good individuals. But individuals, you can be good, you can be bad. And just because you're in prison, that applies to out here. There's good, there's bad. And when you're dealing with the system, it's more than just an officer killing an inmate or something like that. The issues are way grander than that. You know how much money prisons make in Florida? Imagine the companies that are invested in this and want to keep it hush. I mean, if people wanted to change the prison system, they know how to do it. But there's a reason that prisons only investigate themselves. Like, there's a reason for all this. And, I wish it wasn't that way. But right now, maybe after you see a documentary I'll make later, you'll get your answer.
You're on Facebook?
Yeah, my Facebook's kind of I need to. My agents are telling me I need to get my Facebook up there, yeah, I have an Instagram. I can shoot that to you.
Are you involving yourself in the school system at all here?
I actually took some courses at the St. Johns County College.
I'm talking about to help the kids.
Yeah, they won't let me. I want to. It's one of the main things that when I help people, it does something to me. And when I was in prison, when we started the yoga program, there were probably only 8 people that showed up. Then there were 100. Then there were 850 people trying to get in, then 1,000. Camp Bully holds 1,300 people. It brought me so much joy to help people. And that is my mission. That is what I want to do. I do want to become a motivational speaker and help people. But first, I got to get my own self square in a position to be able to do that.
One of the things I wanted to tell you, I was from the 4th largest school system in the United States, an attorney and everything for it, and saw kids just like you and work with them all the time. You need to head to Miami area. They're a lot more open-minded, a lot more settled in, and a lot more that they work with people, and you would be phenomenal.
You can trust the Miami Herald. They give good interviews about prison.
You need to explain that you're on probation and can't go to these places.
Okay, so
You haven't explained.
there goes Mom calling me out. No, so in 2021, I actually had a mental breakdown, and I wasn't drug induced. It was my psyche was fractured, and I called. Police were called. They showed up with shotguns. It only made it worse. And then instead of going to the hospital like I wanted to go to, They took me to the county jail.
Oh, no.
And then while I was in there, the imaginings I was having inside my head about a gang, they brought some gang members near me. And it triggered me further, and then they tried getting me to go out there. And let's just say, long story short, I fought 4 officers. I got bones in my face broken, orbital fractures, stitches, shocked 9 times with tasers, and then taken to the hospital. And then
How long ago
had
was
a
that?
horrible concussion.
How long ago was that?
That was 2021. January. But I want to give a shout out, and I want to say I have a probation officer that really helped me. She really was kind. But I also wasn't being an asshole and trying to get over. I was really trying to change my life. I knew I want to make my family proud. I want to make all of you proud. I want to make myself proud. And I want to vote. I want to become an author. And I'd like to honestly change the world if I can. So.
We're really proud of you.
Oh, you're a beautiful speaker.
Thank you.
Great writer.
And have you had any contact with Operation New Hope in Jacksonville? I don't know if the satellite here or the
You know, I think I did a speaking engagement with them at one point. Oh no, expensive equipment's falling, it's not mine. Yeah, I've done haven't I done New Hope? I've done talks with them, yeah. So there's all.
guy that was, he's on to other things now, but the one that I thought started it here. That story is similar to yours, except he's African American.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up he held on to, he became pen pals with Mandela's daughter in prison. And he was holding on to, when he got out, he would go to South Africa and meet her and work in South Africa. You know, he had this
That's amazing.
Well, what happened was something happened and they stopped and he lost contact with her, but he went to South Africa anyway. And he inadvertently ran into her somewhere. And it did, all this happened, and he was able to, a few years, get the whole operation going, bring her here, you know, to help fundraise and all, so.
Man, I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, so you would, and I can't remember his name right now. It is very interesting, unusual name, once you hear it, but I can't.
No.
Pull it out there.
Well, one
more question.
One more.
How long
Gotcha.
were you on probation for?
I have 5 years probation, and I have 1.5 left, I think, or something. It's getting close. No, I'm not worried about it. It's just something that you have to live through and experience. And unfortunately, I made mistakes, and you have to get through them. Thank you, everybody. And I promise the book will be out soon. Okay.